Welcome to Uncle Karl's Crazy Real Estate Stories, where we discuss all the real deals that we are making happen in the trenches. This is no guru bullshit. This is real estate investing in the trenches, from guns to goats, lawsuits, police, and motorcycle gangs. Let the stories begin with your hosts, Uncle Karl and Stas Kostadinov.
Welcome to Uncle Karl's Crazy Real Estate Stories. This is episode number 21. Uncle Karl, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, of course. So let's talk about some deals, man, that recently closed.
Yeah, I want to share some deals that recently closed and some really cool deals. So listen to this whole episode. I'm really going to break down some cool stuff and give you some great nuggets that you're going to be able to take and put some new tools in your tool belt and hopefully make a big difference.
Gosh, just a warning, these gold nuggets are worth millions of dollars.
Yes, this is worth millions and millions of dollars. So I'll start off by saying, hey, I got a mastermind group. It's $105 a month, 4 Zoom meetings. We go into detail, go into how we got these $100,000 deals coming up, how we did them so you guys can do them. And we also show some easy ways to get deals too. It's not always multiple errors, We show some real simple ways too.
Student of ours made, what is it, $150,000 just from buying one share from a house. So this is the value of our mastermind.
And he was a cookie cutter kind of guy, and we taught him this one thing, and he made $150,000 on this one house by buying a partial interest.
Yep.
So join the mastermind, Uncle Karl and Friends, $105 a month. It's way too freaking cheap. Okay, so let's start out about this other deal. It was properties on Jewel Flower. It was a foreclosure. Okay, now it's always important when you're doing the foreclosure to read the deed. Okay, it only takes a second to click on it. So can't remember the lady's name, but basically it was going through the foreclosure, and we clicked on the deed, and on the deed it said her name, a married woman. Okay, that's super important. That means at the time when she bought it, even though their husband was on the deed, he has a marital interest in it. So we did some research and tracked them down. It turns out that they were estranged, but they never got divorced. So what happened was she passed away. So when she passed away, part of it went to him and part of it went to the kids. Okay. So we ended up buying his share out for $500. Okay. He just didn't want anything to do with it. And then there was 2 more shares. She had two children. Okay. So what we did after that is we went and we knocked on the door. This is important. And there's a lady living there, and that was a granddaughter. And we were talking to her, say, hey, we're just curious what your plans are. We help people out in these situations. And she goes, it's a mess. My grandmother passed away. I've been living here. Then the bank stopped making the payments. Here's an important thing. Talk to them. You always want to find out what's going on. You need to listen and ask open-ended questions. Okay. Right. So it turned out that it was her uncle and aunt were part of the heirs. So I said, hey, what we'll do, if you can help us, we'll pay you. I think we paid her like $2,000 or $3,000. I should have written this all down, but I didn't. But we'll pay you X dollars if you can help us get their shares, and we'll help you get moved out. You can live here for free until then. So basically, she called her aunt and uncle up and was able to set up a meeting, and we bought both their shares out for $1,500. Okay, because we explained that the grandmother was married, and so he had a marital interest, and that we'd already bought that stuff out. So, anyways, so you're looking at $1,500, for $3,500, Stas, we owned the property. That's all we put out. Okay. And then what we did in the meantime, we helped her find a place, and that was a lot of work. She had a couple credit challenges. So we had to go find her a place. See, a lot of these deals you have to take care of the people, super important. The people are helping you, and B, solve their problems. So we had to pay first month, second month, and then put 2 more months in reserve to find her a place. So we were able to do that.
I remember
And
Linda was having a hard time finding her a place.
it was very difficult to have her find a place, but that was our agreement. You help us, we're going to help you.
Right.
And we honored our word. We helped her find a place. We brought her boxes, all sorts of stuff. But the whole thing is, these deals that you make big money, you have to work through it. So we did that. And then we could have taken it subject to and just caught the mortgage up, but we decided we would renovate it. So I think we spent maybe $5,000 or so renovating it. We put it on the market, and the first day we got a full price offer for $210,000 and sold it. We netted $75,000 on that one during COVID. But here's what I want to guys get. It was a foreclosure. We checked the deed. So we found, if we wouldn't have checked the deed, we wouldn't have found out that there was another heir. We knocked on the door, and we helped the person living there, which was the granddaughter, and she in turn helped us get the signatures of the uncle and the aunt. And then we put it all together. And what we did is, instead of paying off the mortgage, we just reinstated it. So we reinstated it while we renovated it. So I don't know exactly what we had.
The money.
Was that?
You don't have to come up with all.
We didn't have to come up with all the money, and I think there's like 80,000 or so owed still on it. We probably should have just kept it. We should have kept it probably as a rental because it had been paid on. But COVID, we didn't know at the time, so we just decided to sell it. So probably between everything, I think we might have been into it for 15. No, probably 20,000 plus. 25,000 total, because we had to reinstate it, renovate, pay the people. And we also borrowed from, I was partners with Brandon Maxwell and Joe. They did a lot of the heavy lifting on this. They did a great job. Yeah. I was the one that went in and got the 2 signatures from the aunt and uncle. And we borrowed money from Joe's wife and his son. His son's like 10 years old. And we ended up borrowing money from him. We were trying to teach him the business. So I think we paid him like 15% interest on his money. So he was one of the people that loaned the money. And then Joe's wife loaned the money on the property too. So
how much did he loan?
It was somewhere around $1,000 to $2,000. It wasn't a lot of money, but we wanted to show him about the business and get him involved.
I love it.
Just trying to teach him about real estate and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Legally, we can't borrow money from someone who's 10, but we did it anyway. So, but that was that deal there. And I just wanted to show people, that was a $75,000 profit, about 5-month turnaround from the very beginning till we got it all done. And again, $25,000 total invested in it. Wasn't a ton of money.
Yeah, 25, and you're profiting what, 75,000?
75,000. Yep.
That's,
and I could be off the number. I'll check, and it could have been as much as 30, but I don't think so. Yeah. But I'm not a numbers guy. I put these things together, and that's what I do. But I know the numbers because Joe tracked it, and it was $75,000 profit on that deal.
Yep.
And so that was pretty cool. And then there's another deal that we finally cleared the title. Actually, let me go to the next one. This one, I can't tell you the address, but because my partner doesn't want me to tell address, but I'll tell you about it. It's a condo, and I think we bought it in 2017. And what happened on this one, it was slated foreclosure. It was old mortgage. Okay. And here's the situation. The lady that owned it had passed away, and she was the only one on the deed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when she passed away, her husband inherited 1/3 of the property.
Okay.
Now, if he would have been on the deed, it would have gone all to him.
That's right.
But he wasn't. Okay. So he got 1/3 of the property, and her children got 2/3 of the property. Okay. Now, what happened was, after that, he passed away. Okay. The gentleman. So his third went to 3 kids. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
one of those was deceased.
Oh my goodness, that's
So
going crazy.
it went to so it didn't go to that guy's wife. It didn't go to the guy's husband.
Uh-huh.
Or no, he's married, husband and wife. That it went down to the grandchild. Okay, because he deceased. She died before the husband. This is one of
Okay.
the children. I know it's sort of getting complicated. I have to draw it out. So, anyways, we have really good attorneys, and we learn the inheritance laws, and you don't have to really know this stuff because the title companies will tell you. This is a big hint. The title companies will tell you what you need. But so we talked to the attorneys. So, and then the one heir wasn't 18 yet. So we got all the other signatures. We had to wait till he turned 18.
So how many years did you wait?
We had to wait probably 6 months to a year after we got all the other heirs to sign before we could get his signature, because he wasn't 18, and we didn't want to appoint a guardian ad litem because that would have been expensive and take a long time. Which we could have had a guardian ad litem who would have.
So the guardian ad litem, they're fighting for his interest, like for right.
They represent him.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
And so
trying to get him as much money as possible, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, and just, it would have been expense and stuff. So we just waited. And so we put this all together, and it was even messier in that there's an estate opened, and there was, the husband was the personal representative, and then he got removed. And then it was just a mess. So we had to go through a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the keys was we got all the pieces together, and then a lot of times, and we ran through the title insurance company, but a lot of times you can get these deals, and then if you hold it for a while, you can clear up any little things, and some other stuff falls off. So we figured worst case it'd be a forever rental, or we'd have to rent it for a long time. And there's all sorts of stuff called color of title, where you have to own it 7 years. And talk to your attorneys about this, and then you can clear it up. So, and then there's quiet title, which we're doing another. We'll talk to you about later. But anyways, we kept it for 3 years. And then we just sold it for $115,000, and our net on that condo was $57,000 on it. So that one, again, it was a lot of work putting together. But one of the keys to this was we would call people up and we just buy their shares out. And most of the people signed their shares over for nothing up front, because they knew that. Here's the thing: is they know they can't put this together. They know that we're the only people. I won't say the only people. There's very few people in the world that can help them through this and are willing to put the time and effort. Right. So they worked with us. So a lot of times we're getting on deed for no money, $500 up front, and they get paid when we cleared the title. Yeah. So we paid everybody out. We kept it as a rental for 3 years, and we just sold it and made $57,000 on the condo. So that was a nice one. Again, it was a vacant foreclosure where the people that owned it were deceased. So, another thing is you can also hire genealogists to build out the family trees, or we use ancestry.com, and we've got people like Eric.
Or you can reach out to us that we can help you out, solve the deal.
That's true. We do joint venture. We do put these together because not just there's a lot of other little things that I'm going to save for the mastermind. So you need to join our mastermind group. That we're not going to tell you on this. There's couple little things you got to do that can screw the whole deal up. Yep. But I just want to give you the basics on that one. And that was pretty cool how we put that one together. Now, I think
it's very nice, man. I mean, and waited 3 years till they could clear it up. And, and the one thing I like to see that you always have exit strategy. Like, what is your, like you had exit strategy, well, whatever, if we can clear up the title, it's going to be forever rental. Who cares,
Yeah, because I think we had, we only had, I think it was close to 40-something thousand, 40 or 50,000 into it. So worst case, it was renting for, I think, $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So worst case, it's a long-term rental, and there are people that will buy bad title at a discount. So if you've had it for a while, so let's say we sold it for $115, someone might have paid us $90 or $95 cash for it, knowing the title is not 100% clear, but they know nothing's going to come back. So there are investors that will buy bad title at a discount. So we had that, we had exit strategy, and we knew that over time we could probably clear the title, and that's what we did.
Yeah, because like
Um,
50,000, you can get them back for like 6 years, you know? And then you have your no money, like you got your own money back and everything is on the profit side.
yep. So that's, I just want to share people
Yeah.
that deal. Now I want to talk about another one. Now I'll rephrase. It's East 17th Street, 509 East 17th Street. It is a smaller lot. That
Hmm.
what happened was, I'll give you the quick how we got it and then what's going on with it now. What happened was originally it was a tax foreclosure, Stas. It was a tax foreclosure, and we were going after it. And a guy named Sam got to it first. Okay, so Sam was trying to sell it for $120,000. We're like,
Uh-huh.
it's not worth it. Da da da. But if it falls through, give us a call. Well, it fell through at closing because the lot was too small to be built on. Okay. So he called up and said, "Oh, the neighbor said they'd give me 23,000 for it." I'm like, "No, I'll buy it. Stop, Sam. You know us. I'll sign today. I'll pay you 23,000." So I signed that day. The neighbor was going to sign the next day for
Damn.
23. But we knew we had multiple exit strategies. One was we could always sell it to the neighbor.
Right.
Two, we could buy some land from the neighbor, part of his backyard, and get a full lot. We actually could have got two lots. Okay, if we would have bought his whole backyard. Three, we could do a variance.
Right.
And the variance is it takes something that's not buildable, that's small. You go in from the city council and they make it buildable. It's a little more to that, but that's
Basically approve the lot, whatever,
to be
like the
buildable because the
size. Yeah.
cities they want more tax revenue. So
Yep.
they're going to grant a lot of the variances, unless you're in these uber rich areas and stuff like that they might fight it. So you got to be careful. Like there's areas like Myers Park and certain areas like that it might be fought. But overall, the city's approving variance. So long story, we got it for 23,000. So and we closed out with a different attorney. We didn't close out with our attorney. Okay. So what happened was there's some guys, Harrison with Cohab, they were assembling some land and they wanted to bring us in as a partner, but we decided it'd be better to sell it. Because if you bring it as a partner, you don't control it. We would own a small percentage. It just didn't make sense to us.
Yeah.
So we put it under contract for 160. Now, of course, I was counting my chickens. I already had the money spent. I knew where it was going to go. So they started doing the title. So yeah, don't count your chickens till that money's in your account. And this was like 6 or 7 months ago. So I'm like, okay, I had it all lined up, ready to go. And then they were doing the title search and there was a mistake. There was some errors that got left out or there was some kind of problem. And so what we ended up having to do at that point is we had to go against the and they went and hired another attorney, and we ended up doing a quiet title where they basically sued everybody and they get knocked off. Anybody came forward. So we just got through the court. We got granted the quiet title, I think Thursday. So now we can sell it. Now it's under contract for 160 and it's going to close out in 30 days. And so the net on that should be about $130,000 on that one piece of land.
And you got it from the wholesaler that didn't know nothing about these things, right?
He didn't know about a variance, and he didn't want to take it down and go through that process and risk, because it's not a guarantee.
Of course.
And he's a wholesaler. That's what he does. And we said, wait a minute, we know there's multiple exit strategies. We know that worst case, we can put a little tiny goat farm on it, or something. We could do something on it. So but he also showed up in court too, and we had to release him because he signed, this is important, he signed a I think general warranty deed, which meant he was on the hook.
Oh, really?
But we released him from that. That was part of the settlement.
Holy.
So we're able to get that done, and that should close out. Now I'm counting my chickens again. I already got that money spent. I got to fix my Rolls Royce, certain things like that.
Oh man!
How many miles I got on that? About 300 miles, and I spent $6,000.
On the rolls, I don't think you have 300 miles on it.
Maybe 100 miles so far.
150 maximum.
Maximum, yeah. So yeah. I think it's God's way of smacking me down and saying, "Hey, don't buy stupid shit." So, So now I'm getting ready to get it towed and get it fixed again. So hopefully it'll only be about 3,000 to fix it, and hopefully I'll be able to make it 300 miles without it breaking down. So yeah,
Make sure you spend these 300 miles the right way, man.
yeah, I drive. Yeah, I'm gonna drive just short distances so I can get 300
You gotta
miles out before
go.
it breaks down.
You gotta go around the clubs and show off with some two goats and stuff.
Well, we'll
Showing
see.
from the windows and stuff.
But so that's another deal that's supposed to close out. I also want to talk about another one on McCarran Way. Now I'm jinxing these deals. This was another one where it was leftover land from a big subdivision, and the builder had passed away. And so I went and talked to his wife, and she's like, I can't pay the taxes. I have all the plans. So they'd spent thousands of dollars. They had the environmental study. They had all the plans, and she showed them to me. So we made a deal with her just to go ahead and buy it.
Wow.
And then we had to, I think there was some kind of lien or taxes we had to pay off. But we're into this land it's in the 40s, I think about 45 to 50 total now. Okay. And it's under contract for 185,000. Their due diligence ends July 15th, and it closes out August 15th. So that deal will probably be about another $130,000 deal on some land that was left over from a subdivision where the guy had passed away, and the lady's like, hey, I'm older, I don't have anything to do with this, and I don't want it, I'll just let it go.
You always find some kind of deals like these where some tragedy happens in the family, and
Well, and we help people out in situations where this is another situation. You remember the deal we made, 228,000, where it was owned by a defunct corporation. The lady had the rights for the divorce, and she's just going to walk away from it.
Yeah,
just like, leave me alone. I don't have anything to do with it. Bad memories. And she made 28,000 up front, and then we gave her a bonus profit. We brought her in profit sharing, and she made another $36,000.
Yeah.
So I would say a majority of people are so happy we get involved to solve these problems because they don't know how to solve them, or they just don't want it.
Yeah.
And join Uncle Karl and Friends Mastermind Group. It's $105 a month, 4 Zoom meetings, and we go into detail how we find these things and how we create these deals.
Yeah.
Now I want to go into another deal too. This is an easier one, but not totally easy, but it's pretty interesting. We just use our property tax lookup system or our GIS system, and we look at areas that maybe you're transitioning or people are starting to buy in. So we clicked on it, brought up the property, and then skip traced the guy and called him and just asked if he wanted to sell. It's over on Glenwood, this lot over for people, Enderley Heights or Enderley, whatever. I can't even think of the name, but it's an area that's really come up in value. And we talked to him about it, and he wanted $10,000. Well, there's also a mortgage on the property still too, okay, where the house had been torn down and stuff. So we went back and forth and said, okay, we can give you 10. Now this mortgage was for like 40 grand. Okay. So we made a deal with him where we said, okay, we can give you 2,000 up front, and we'll give you $8,000 when we clear title. Well, we know ways to get the mortgage knocked off the property. Right. There's some legal maneuvers, and these mortgage companies will release them, or we have ways to close over them because, there's back taxes and the house has been demoed and there's no value. So we've done this multiple times where we can get title insurance and get these mortgages knocked off. So join Uncle Karl and Friends Mastermind Group to learn how to do this. But so if anybody gets any of these land deals, so anyways, long story, we listed it for sale. It's under contract for $54,000. Supposed to close out in 2 weeks. Now, if everything goes right, again, we have $2,000 invested. The guy will get us $8,000 plus we'll pay off some of the back taxes, and it'll close out. So it's going to probably be around a $35,000 or so profit, $40,000 profit on this deal. I'll know the exact numbers, but this is just a creative way, another creative way to get deals, to do deals that's working really, really well for us.
Yep.
And we got another lot too. It's off of Circle Avenue or Drive in Charlotte. And this was another one, working with, and then this is Brandon Maxwell, our partner. He's been on an interview. And what happened was, of course, we showed him how to be a badass, but again, he was just pulling up public records and clicked on this lot and called and bought it for $500. And at the time, the roads were out there and stuff, but this road just hadn't been cleared. Okay. So, we just like, okay, $500, we'll bank it. We'll worry about it later. I drove out there like a few months ago and I'm like, wait a minute, they've cleared this road out now. So they've cut the trees all the way through. So we listed it for $29,900 and it went under contract the second day. So if that closes out, that's going to be like a $26,000 deal on a $500 investment. And those were just, again, don't wanters. And I think one of the heirs had passed away, and all we needed was one signature, thanks to the husband and wife, and they just didn't want it. So I wonder what kind of return that is, $500 and you make $25,000, but we bought it about a year ago. That's a pretty good return. We need to figure that out. So that was just another example of us. We've been doing a lot of land deals. We sort of like gravitate into certain areas. I don't know why. And now, so we just been doing a whole lot of this land stuff. But those are another two ones.
50-time return.
Was that?
It's a 50-time return.
Yeah, 500% return, probably something like that. Yeah, 500%.
50.
That means that's a 500% return.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
50 times, 500% return on the money.
Yep.
That's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
And then we got another one that we noticed on it that had the reason it came to our attention. I'll tell you more about it in the mastermind group. Did I mention we have a mastermind group, Stas?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What
We
was
have
it?
this great mastermind group. It's only $105 a month. 4 Zoom meetings, Facebook group where we go into detail. And I'll if you join the mastermind, I'll show you how we found this one. But anyways, it had multiple people on it. So what we ended up doing is we built out 8 brothers and sisters. They were all dead but one. So we bought the one living share out. The guy's like 90. We bought his share out for $200. Now there's other people that tried to approach them and tried to put this together, but nobody could put it together. So we bought his share for $200. The reason we did that is once we get part of a share, now we multiple stuff. We could, if it ever went through taxes, we could go for overages, or we could do a quiet title or partition sale. So we built out the family tree, and turns out there's close to 60 heirs. Okay. Jesus. And we've been calling them over the last year, and I think we've got about 6 or 8 more to sign. And I think we'll have almost every single heir. Okay. It's been a lot of time, but it really wasn't that bad. We had somebody else build out the family tree for us. And then we just made the phone calls, and a lot of, and this is one of the things we talked to them and said, hey, if your Mr. Quick passed away, you're one of the heirs, but here's the situation. We explained to them that there's a ton of heirs. It's a big mess, and we just want to buy their share out. We're paying $200, $100, very little for each share. But a lot of people are like, I'm glad you're going to do something with that property. We've been approached before. Nobody could do anything.
Right.
So we're doing what's called a quiet title. And I don't really even know what that means exactly, but we've hired an attorney, and he just is having us get as many shares, and we're working with him. He's sending out the deeds. Once we get the agreements, they're getting signed and notarized, sending back, we're sending out the money. So even if we can't get all the heirs, it's going to go in front of a judge, and he's basically going to declare it's ours, and it knocks them all off, and we'll be able to get title.
Basically, you're going to show in front of court that you did your research, you looked at everything, you tried to get us everybody shares, and then they will approve it, and then whatever they're stamping or whatever.
And I'm not explaining that right. We probably need to have an attorney on to explain it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to be into it for maybe 10 to 12,000, somewhere in that range, total, including legal fees. And the house is probably worth close to 100,000 as is right now. And again, this is a situation where everybody was happy that we're doing something with the property. They were glad to get a little something, but they're like, hey, we want to see our uncle's property or something get done with it, But now here's another thing too. There's a guy that's been living in it for years, and he's a Vietnam vet. Nice guy. I talked to him. So he's been paying some of the property taxes and upkeep. So we're working a deal with him to stay in the property. He's got some really bad health things. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we're like, okay, we're in this for inexpensive. I think we're going to rent it to him for around $200 a month, you know, because I think it's important. The guy paid the taxes. He's lived there, kept it up. So, and I can't see evicting a Vietnam vet, you know, and I just can't see doing that. But we just want to get a little bit of money to help pay the taxes and be fair. So we're going to let him stay there probably until he passes away, you know, and then we'll eventually do something. Because I think that's important too, guys, to take care of people like that. In
I
this
think
country.
so too. I mean, you can't just like, yeah, you got the house, but you know, if there's a person like that, you know, Vietnam vet, he probably with the bad health issues.
Very bad health issues and stuff. So I can't in my heart. I mean, it's like, yeah, we
Yeah.
could make quick 80 or 90,000, but I'm fine. Who knows how it's going to go, but we're going to work something out that so he can stay, you know, until he passes away, whether it's 1 year, 5 years, whatever. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think so too.
So,
Well,
but that are some of the deals that we've been working on. We've got some other crazy stories on some of the other stuff that we're doing. Again, we're looking for joint venture partners. We're looking for people that can do acquisitions. We're looking for more private money. We want to continue to do more deals. Join the mastermind. We're also willing to do consulting, and we're wanting to expand out to some areas too. So if you guys want to work with us, reach out. My number is 704-995-5385, 704-995-5385. It's better to text, or if you forget that, you can always remember 704-777-7777. If you got any weird deals or stuff like that, reach out to us. And Stas, you got anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. Just thanks for listening, and we'll continue with the next episode to share some other badass, crazy real estate stories.
Join the mastermind. Tell people about the mastermind. We want to grow that, and we're getting into all sorts of other stuff. We've got some really great data coming too.
Oh yeah,
and other stuff. So stay tuned for those announcements.
thank you guys for watching.
Okay.